Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is Ebbie Reviews, and tonight we're gonna be discussing Chasing Atlanta season 3 episode 2. I can't remember the name. I'll leave it down in the description box. Y'all know what it is. Okay, so we start off with what happened last week with all the introductions of some of the new cast members and the conversation that Montel had with Cameron, not dealing with Jaylon, and then the conversation with Jaylon with Q about Gardini. So we open up this episode and Q is doing his radio show, Q in the Streets. He is interviewing Miss D from Bring It On, DD4F. That's my shit. And so he's doing an interview with her, and Montel comes to see Q at the studio and to introduce him to one of the new cast members. His name is Troy, and Troy is a stylist and a very comparable young man. I think he does stuff all over the place for different celebrities and all that good stuff. And so Q meets with Troy and Montel. They have a little conversation. Q invites Montel to the wild animal outing, to the zoo situation that's supposed to happen the next day with Jaylon. And Montel was like, no, here's what I'm not doing that. Not doing that. He said, I'll meet with him and we will get our stuff together because I'm in a different space in my life and I don't have time for drama and arguing and beefing with people and all this good stuff. However, what Mama won't be doing is going to play with the animals. So, he politely declines that invitation, and Troy says that he will go. So, we then cut to Q going to meet his friend Oliver Twist. Oliver is like I think he's an assistant to and works for Funky Dineva for his blog. He, I guess, has been an admin to several of the stars and things of that nature. He's a rapper, and they showed a clip of his song and all that's good stuff. And so he meets with Q and they have a conversation at Oliver's, I'm assuming it's Oliver's apartment. There is a young lady there who apparently is the booty do doctor who pumped both K. Michelle and Nicki Minaj booties to oversized proportions. So they're sitting there, they have a little conversation. He invites Oliver. He asks him, who does he know? And he's like, I know Gardini, I know Montel. I even met with Jaylon at the gentleman's ball. And he said, how did that go? And he was like, it went okay. We didn't have any animosity or anything at the gentleman's ball. So everything was cool. And he's like, yeah, I'll go to the outing on the next day. So we cut to the outing, and why Jaylon thought it would be appropriate y'all going on a zoo adventure to wear high heel shoes. Okay. I don't know if Jaylon is transitioning. I don't know if he's just doing the androgyny, non-binary, I dress how I feel. One day I'd be dressed for boy, one day I'll give you girl. It's just how I feel on that day. I'm not exactly sure what is he on hormone. I don't know. And honestly, it's none of my business. However, even as me as a girl, and I was going And I took a bunch of kids on a field trip to a farm like that where you got in the back of the truck and all the animals ran up to you to feed out of your hands. That's not a high hill situation. It's just not. There's no even ground. It's just rocks and dirt. No good grip. That's just not. It's just not a good situation. And then he had this blue wig on, this blue bob. It was it was a bob and it was blue, and it was well cut. It was very well cut. I'm assuming he cut it himself. He may have dyed it himself as well. But he has this blue wig on, this orange sweater, I think some jeans, and these click-clack. I call them click-clacks because they are mules. They're high-heel mules where the back of your heel is out, so they flap like flip-flops. And according to Oliver, when he stomped away, once he figured out who Oliver was, they were cliffhangers because his toes was grabbing onto the ground. So, like I said, once he gets over there, first of all, he's like, oh, I thought it was just going to be the two of us on this adventure. Because apparently, Q had told him he couldn't find anyone else to go on the adventure with them. But he showed up with two people, which would have been Troy and Oliver. So he introduces him to Troy. He's like, oh, hi, how you doing? And all that, blah, 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 blah. And then he introduced him to Oliver. He's like, oh, you fuck with Gardini. And he starts to go in to take off his microphone. And he's like, I told them I'm not fucking with anybody that fucks with him. This man has already tried to fuck over my business. I'm not doing this. No. And so he goes to run off. I don't know if anyone else saw when Oliver and Jaylon were having their conversation. There was a lovely gentleman standing behind Jaylon in a pink shirt with his fine self. I don't know who that was, but he was the most important part of the conversation. That's all I got out of it, was the man in the pink shirt. So they talk, and he's like, I know you fuck with Gardini. I know he's your friend, and da-da-da, and I'm not trying to, he's like, I'm in a different place in my life. I'm not trying to be in all that drama, blah, blah, bloom, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, look, I told him, he's like, did he even tell you what he did? And he was like, yes, and I told him he was wrong. That is stealing, and you shouldn't do that. And he was like, if you're going to be mad at me, be mad at me for something that I did, not for, ooh, my highlight. Okay. Be mad at me for something that I did, not something that he did. And I have to take the blame for what he's done. And Jaylon came to his senses. He was like, you're absolutely right. And so at this point, Q was like, if y'all don't bring your asses on, I'm going to leave you. So they get into the back of the truck. The animals are sticking their face in the slobber everywhere. It's just... My idea of roughing it is a hotel with no room service. What? No, ma'am. Return to sender. I don't want this whole adventure. I don't want it. I don't need it. Who authorized this? Who thought this was a good idea? What were you thinking? But they seem to be having a good time. Oliver was like, I don't understand why these animals keep running up on us. Don't your parents take care of you? It was real cute. So we then see Kendra, who is a transgendered rapper. I don't know if they're still doing confessionals for the season. However, when you get my good sis Kendra in the confessionals, her T-zone is getting oily, more than likely, because it's hot and there's lights. Somebody get my sister some blotting papers, a little setting powder, just to take the shine down a little bit, because she's a little shiny in this area. And so, from one person who wears a lot of makeup to another, and I know some tricks, a little blotting paper, a little setting powder. Take that shine right on down and then y'all can continue to record. Don't have my sister out here looking sweaty about the face. It's not cute. So Kendra is getting ready for her party that Jaylon actually invited Oliver, Troy, and Jaylon was supposed to go to the world premiere of Party for Kendra's music video for her single. I think it's called No Friend or No Best Friend, or I'll find out and put it in the description box. It's available on iTunes, and I will try and find the link to put it in the description box. So Oliver shows up in all pink, and he's like, I get there, and this is Atlanta. This is a music city. I was expecting he was expecting there to be photographers, a step and repeat. For it to be more organized. It seemed very casual and laid back. More like a listening party vibe, kickback vibe, rather than like an industry led party where there's a step and repeat, there's other celebrities there, blase bloom, blue blue blue, that type of thing. So he was like, nobody came to greet me. I don't understand what's happening. Jaylon and Troy hadn't arrived, so he was like, I'm here by myself. So he takes it upon himself. Excuse me, y'all. He takes it upon himself to go and introduce himself to Kendra. And Kendra was like, okay, hey, welcome, enjoy yourself, have a good time, blah, 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 blah. So apparently, one of Kendra's friends over here, Oliver, complaining like, hey, what's going on? Ain't no drinks, ain't no food, ain't nobody no guidance, no organization, no nothing to this situation and circumstance. What is happening? What is going on? And so Kendra gets angry because she feels like Oliver is shit talking her event. When really, I just think he was confused as to what was going on and voicing his concerns about what is happening versus what is supposed to be happening. What am I supposed to be doing? What's going on? So he goes outside to call Uber, and Kendra is on her way out to go have a conversation with Oliver about what he was overheard to say by one of her friends. And as she's approaching, his Uber cancels the ride. And then we go to scene. That's the end of the episode. And we go to scenes of the next episode. Gardini is getting out of jail, where he firmly believes that Jaylon has snitched on him, and that's the reason why he got violated to go back to jail in the first place. Also, there's a confrontation between Oliver and Kendra, and Oliver is trying to explain to her that he understands the struggle of what people think when you're gay and a rapper, or trans and a rapper, and all the challenges that provides. And he ends up calling somebody. He's like, I understand you, basic bitch. I'm not stupid. So we'll see where that goes as well. As well as there's some issue with Devin. And I guess as to why he's not on the season, I guess we'll get that explanation next week. Also, we were born. The duo. They were on here and they were getting choreography from our good friend Lyric, who is one of the best choreographers in Atlanta. And so he was giving them a routine to practice. He's like, what, you got a music video? He's like, yeah, we got a music video coming out, and we got this party for a camera where we're supposed to be performing. And he was like, yeah, I know Cameron. So I don't know if that'll be the only appearance that we get from Lyric this season, because he is not officially on the show. I guess he's a friend of the show now. He's a Marlo now, instead of a full-blown cast member. So we will figure that out. And yeah, that is all for this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please find Chasing Atlanta on their Facebook page and go like them. I'm going to go look for them now. I know Facebook has been tripping today. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I think that's all for today, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.